Social workers need to convey information about client rights, such as informed consent and confidentiality, near the beginning of an interview. Too often, this is conveyed in an impersonal manner that undercuts the real purpose of safeguarding client rights. So I'd like to identify some potential behaviors that a social worker might do that would make the client experience impersonal. 1. Present it as standard information that just needs to be completed. So we just need to sign these forms so we can move on with providing you services. 2. Hurry through it without making sure the client has full understanding. So not taking time or not answering questions. 3. Not making it an active and ongoing part of the helping process. And 4, that the information is presented in broad or generic terms and it's not specific to the client's circumstance or case. So how can we correct this? Informed consent should be presented specific to each client's situation, giving examples relatable to their experiences. When I was a CWS social worker, I always made it very clear to parents that when I was signing the various forms with them, that they were in no way, shape, or form giving up their parental rights. Have a fact sheet that describes the relevant policies and answers commonly asked questions so clients have something to refer to in between meetings. Provide an opportunity to revisit informed consent and confidentiality in the future. Given the tension and uncertainty common in the first meeting, clients may not realize the importance of the information you are providing them and need the opportunity to revisit the parameters of service and invite questions throughout the helping process. So my philosophy about the importance of the clients understanding their rights. I work in CWS, so I work with mandated clients who are often angry and upset that we've taken their children. And then here I sit with a stack of forms that I want them to sign. They often feel intimidated and scared, and they are afraid that they are being asked to sign over their children. And so it's very important, and my philosophy is that I must be patient, I must answer questions, I must take the time for them to understand it. I cannot be hurried. I really have to, and even if that means listening to them longer than I want or allowing them to vent, but allowing that to happen so that I can get to the point where I can explain my role and explain the necessity, make sure they understand informed consent and confidentiality and move forward with a case. So there's 3 effective words that I chose from our reading: upset, fear, and uncertain. And so I'd like to discuss some examples of those. Upset. A common example in CWS is the first client contact a social worker has when investigating a suspected child abuse report. A parent's response often goes something like this: "Who'd want to make trouble for me by accusing me of not taking care of my kids? Maybe I'm not the best mother in the world, but there are a lot of kids around here that aren't cared for as well as mine." My response would be something like this: this seems very upsetting for you. You seem to be saying it's not fair someone turned you in when you believe you've taken care of your children. And I'm not accusing you of neglecting your children, but I do need to investigate the complaint. And it may be that I'll be able to turn in a positive report. I hope so, but I do need to talk with you further. May I come in? Fear. I think of a patient talking to a medical social worker prior to a surgery where they may have heard they're in good hands or that the doctor has a good reputation, but still having fear. And my response might be to them: so intellectually you've told yourself not to worry because you're in good hands, but on the other hand you have to admit that you're scared of the operation. Your fear is pretty natural, and most people who are honest with themselves would admit experiencing fear. And then uncertain. A father of a wheelchair-bound child whose son is now an adult, worrying about the future care of his son because the child is now an adult and too heavy to lift or change. And he's now much older and uncertain if he can continue physically caring for the child who's now an adult. I would say something like this: you're in a really difficult situation. You love your son very much and you have kept him in your care to this point. But he's no longer a small child and you have aged. You feel uncertain about your son's future and wonder if other arrangements would need to be made for his better care, and if that would be better for the both of you. Thank you.